And welcome back to the news at 8 o'clock on this Friday night. On Tuesday, this next Tuesday, Maricopa County voters, they're going to decide who will run as the Republican nominee for sheriff. Glendale police officer Mike Crawford, former sheriff Joe Arpaio, and Arpaio's former chief deputy Jerry Sheridan. All of them going to be on the ticket. And boy, that's going to be a fascinating race to call on Tuesday, because the winner will take on the current sheriff, Democrat Paul Penzone.
And our chief investigative reporter, Morgan Lowe, spoke with Sheridan about what it's like to run against his former boss.
I am not Joe Arpaio. He's responsible for what he did, and I'm responsible for my actions.
If there's one point that Jerry Sheridan was eager to make, it's that one, that he is different from his former boss, the man he's running against in Tuesday's Republican primary.
How odd has that been?
It's been very odd. It has been uncomfortable at times.
Sheridan spent 40 years at the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, rising from volunteer in the reserve to chief deputy under then Sheriff Arpaio. And it is that last 6 years of his career that came to define his legacy.
Chief Sheridan?
Criticisms over the mishandling of child sex crimes cases, tens of millions of dollars in court judgments, and the Melendrez racial profiling trial.
How are you not partially to blame or to blame for those situations?
I inherited those cases. It was the former chief deputy and other executive chiefs that were involved in those things. So I don't have a problem standing here in front of you and talking about those cases, because obviously I had to deal with them later on.
Sheridan stood by Arpaio and was even held in contempt of court with Arpaio.
How do you characterize what he did in office? Do you think that he broke the law?
No. He didn't go that far. What happened was he and the executive chief that were working on the Melendrez case, they did target specific Hispanic neighborhoods to make those traffic stops. That's wrong. Is that criminal? I'll leave that up to you.
Paul Penzone was elected because the voters wanted a change at the sheriff's department. Now you're saying that there needs to be another change. How can you, as being Sheriff Arpaio's number 2 guy, how can you be that change that you say the sheriff's department needs now?
Okay, I'm not Joe Arpaio. I am a product of my upbringing, of my education, of my 40 years with the sheriff's office, of watching 4 different sheriffs over the years. Yes, I was his chief deputy for 6 years, but I've also learned the mistakes that I've made over the years.
I spoke to former Sheriff Joe Arpaio on the phone this afternoon. He said he doesn't have anything negative to say about Jerry Sheridan. Arpaio says he decided to run for his old office because voters were reaching out to him. I'm Morgan Lowe for Arizona's Family.